position back home, and you're going to have a huge economic advantage. And that's kind of why I was saying you make 4 or 5 Reapers, you make 3 or 4 Hellions, and then you got to make other units.
Right.
Because you're not getting additional utility out of that extra, the 6th Reaper, or the 7th Reaper, or the 5th Hellion. It's not letting you do anything new, and it's even more putting you in the same position where if you attack them, they can come kill you, and their army is just too strong. If Marineking had made a siege tank with siege mode and started making some Marines back home, he would have been able to hold that push and also just demolish Heart's economy.
Yeah, so it's kind of he just went one way without really having anything to pad what was behind it. And we are going to go to Cloud Kingdom next. Just waiting. There we go. We can start the game. And we are now tied 1-1. That puts Marineking now at a score of 11-6. And that puts Heart at 10-10. Across the board, so he's 50-50 on games won and lost, but he has taken down some very, very mighty Titans here over the course of the MLG Spring Arena. Let's introduce our players here in the northeast position. As the Blue Terran, we've got Complexity Heart. And over here in the southwest, as the Red Terran, we've got Marineking Prime. So yeah, some interesting play right there. I'm not quite sure. Now, when I thought about these two players' play styles clashing, I think I had more game one in mind, you know, kind of like what unfolded there, than I had game two. So, you know, will we see a kind of straight up that macro style game from Heart just because this is game 3? I mean, I'm not sure that you can just safely and or blindly play that versus Marineking Prime.
You know, I'm not sure what Heart's plan is here. Cloud Kingdom, definitely a very macro-oriented map. We do see a lot of mech in this matchup, TBT. And Marineking going for a gas first. We'll see Heart probably put down a barracks in just a moment here.
Boom.
And now the question then is Heart going to take his gas, or is he going to do a 1-Rax expand? And if he takes his gas, I would expect him to do something kind of like what we saw in the first game. If he doesn't take his gas, then I think you're right. He's going to go for a more macro-style game.
And it looks like no gas as of yet.
He's just checking for a proxy barracks there.
Make sure that there's nothing shenanigans-wise over there. Going to throw down the other depot. His opponent's going to get to the base and not really know that the gas went down first, but the rack's going to be nearing completion. And then SCV going to make its way over and be able to see all of this going on. So actually, gas is taken by Heart.
So it's a much later gas. Yeah, it's actually a 15 gas. And this could be a trick play because he got all the early buildings at a timing that you would expect for a 1-Rax expand, the 14 depot and the 12 racks and the wall in, and then he takes that 15 gas. Does see the gas first, and we'll have to see what he reacts.
Actually, let me ask you, I mean, because he saw the factory go down so quickly, he has to know that that was a gas first build, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you can pretty safely say it's gas first for a very long time, actually. Up until this point, if you scout and there's only one Marine, you don't know it's gas first, but you're kind of thinking like, he's only got one Marine, that's a little weird. And sometimes you can run past it. If you get caught by a second Marine, then maybe he was just hiding it. It's not actually gas first. Otherwise, you should be able to get past and see that. Oh, he's getting a Reaper.
Yeah, so he's going to go with that Reaper expand once again. And this is exactly what he did in game number 1 as well. We already see the starport coming out. So, of course, the Banshee going to be coming into play with that early gas.
Yeah, this is...
Will he have enough for Cloak?
No, he's not going to get Cloak because it's only one gas geyser at his base. In order to support it, you would need 2. But this is interesting because I'm not sure how Heart is planning to defend that early Banshee. When you get that Reaper, you're delaying Marine production, and then since you got that gas, that's more minerals that you're spending on, not just mineral things. So your barracks are a little bit delayed. He is getting that fast stim, but he's not going to have a whole lot of units here. You can see the Banshee's already coming out.
Now, do you have to basically scout the Banshee on its arrival to the base? And actually, he's going to be able to scout it right here with this Reaper.
This is a really good move for Heart. does get an SCV. Not the greatest control there, but the information he's gathered from that is very good, as long as he reacts appropriately. But I'm a little scared for Hart here if we go to the units tab for a second. 3 Hellions. So if this bunker does not get up in time, those 3 Hellions plus the Banshee are actually going to do quite a bit of damage at his front door.
We're sending him over right now while the command center goes down on the low ground. Hellion's already there to knock.
Oh,
and the
no,
Banshee's
don't
about
fight
halfway
that.
done.
Yep, and now Marine King smells blood is basically what happened there. If he hadn't pushed up, then you keep your opponent in the dark. He doesn't know whether he wants to push. But once you push forward with 4 Marines like that, he knows 100% he's just going to go for it.
Oh, and there he goes in. 1 Hellion is down, but there are no more Marines. He stops that bunker from going up. All the SCVs being pulled right here.
Yeah,
and is he going to end it?
Good.
With the Banshee coming in, they can clean up all these low health SCVs. The 1 Marine left standing is easily taken out. And 2 more Marines from MKP following up to this, and that might be it. That might just be GG.
This really feels kind of sloppy, actually, from Hart. Like, you scout gas first, you scout Banshee, and you have absolutely no response for it because the build you chose to do just kind of blindly, you didn't adapt it in any way. Those 2 reactors obviously slowed down his Marine production for quite a bit there. Just needed more barracks, a little faster on that bunker, or just holding the top of his ramp, something to delay that.
And so that is going to put Hart at 10-11 games overall. His overall score is going to be 3-4, and I still think that that's going to allow him to remain in contention for the top 4 spots. We're going to have to take a look. It might actually depend on what happens with Parting's last games, as it looks like, well, Violet's finished off 4-2.
Yeah,
Violet still has a game left.
Right. And so there's actually 5 players at 3-3 right now. Is the tiebreaker after match score the number of games? Are we?
Well, everyone will have played the same. I'm sorry. After match scores, yes, games won, game lost, and then matchup, I believe.
Right. So it actually looks like Dongregu or Parting have the lowest chance of coming out right now, just based on the match score so far. But
and DRG still has Marineking to play, which is pretty awesome, actually.
The last game of Dongregu here will be against Marineking, and if he wins that, he's almost certainly going to advance. If he loses that, it'll just depend on how the other matches come out.
See, MC has to play Parting in a PvP to determine whether or not he will win. He won one of his PvPs versus Huck, and also he did beat Marineking 2-1. So he has some nice victories under his belt, but it's all going to pretty much rely on what happens in this last little set of matches across the board. I'm not sure that Marineking will necessarily, unless he gets 0-3'd and somehow Violet takes the first spot. I think that Violet, as long as Marineking can win 1 game versus DRG, even if he takes a loss, it's probably going to end up very close in that second position. Looks like Gonzi is playing Violet, I believe, right this moment. So once we know the results of that, we should be able to start to see exactly who is in contention to be eliminated. I mean, right now, it looks like it could be any one of the 3 through 7 spots, which is kind of crazy, because you'd think if you're sitting in the 3rd or 4th place spot, you're relatively safe, right?
Yeah, but that's definitely not the case
not
here.
The case.
The 7 players we have left are all very close with each other. Even Marineking, who is obviously doing a bit better than his opponents, he's not crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's winning. He's winning most of what he's going into, but it's not like he's 3-0ing everyone. And so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who's actually able to make it out, to pull out. Basically, most of these guys have 1 set left. And that's going to be the deciding factor. How well can they play on day 2? We're nearing almost 9 p.m. here.
Yep.
They've been in the States for just a couple of days. Some of them definitely feeling fatigue or jet lag. and they're really going to have to pull it together for that last set if they want to make it to Championship Sunday.
Yeah, it's all going to be about pretty much these results. You can't really dwell on results of yesterday and even the earlier games today. It's all going to come down to this. And for some folks, it's that really uncomfortable situation where in some cases it's going to come down to how other people do in their matchups as well.
Yeah, you can definitely end up at a point where it's out of your control. You've done the best you could, and you might be rooting almost for the guy that you hate, because if he wins, you're going to go through.
Yep,
it might